So several weeks ago, I did a post on my LinkedIn profile about how for years I have used hired drivers to take me to different markets so I don't lose a tremendous amount of time and allows me to be more productive. Well, that post blew up, so I thought I would do a video to give a lot more detail on how I set this up. Let's go! Okay, let's cover the obvious. Why do I hire drivers? Well, for years of my career, I would drive myself 2 hours outside to a market. I'd drive for 2 or 3 hours in the market, and then I'd have to drive back for 2 or 3 hours. And then when I got home, I was stressed out because I had tons of emails to return, phone calls, and other things to catch up on. And the reality is I never caught up. I would work until midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., just returning all the emails and getting to where I was before I left. And those late nights would bleed into more late nights, and I'd have to work weekends, all because I lost 6 or 8 hours in one day. I'm a fierce protector of my own personal time with my friends, family, and hobbies. And this whole driving thing was cramping my style. Not to mention, being the nerd that I am, every year I have always calculated how much money I made per hour because that helps me make decisions in the future on various things and whether or not I should be involved or hire someone else. So you can see how the decision to hire someone to drive for me at $20 an hour was a pretty easy decision. So I did a post on my Facebook profile to just my friends, not the public, and asked them if they or someone they knew would want to be a driver for me at $15 to $20 per hour on occasion. I simply put in the post that they would drive my vehicle, that all the trips would be done within one day, and typically they'd be back by dinner, and the floodgates opened. Within a couple of weeks, I had 13 drivers to choose from. Now, of those 13 drivers, I use 3 or 4 pretty regularly and the vast majority of the time, but I have others I can call on in case the probability that all 3 or 4 of them are just not available to me when I need them. All right, let's hop outside and I'll show you how I set up my vehicle, what it looks like, the rules that I give the drivers, and all that other detail. Here's my man, Joey. He's gonna be driving for me today. How you doing, Joey?
I'm well.
So this is how we're set up for inside the truck. We got a little lap desk. You can get this off of Amazon. Everything is plugged into, I have a separate little doodad here that connects into the cigarette lighter. Now I have an older school truck. That's the way I like it. And so I have to use this device. So I have my laptop plugged in here, and then my cell phone charger goes in here. Got my cell phone hooked up. I got my Bluetooth ears so I can connect in. Puts me right in the middle. I can see where we're going. For my driver, if I need him to take quick turns or whatever, I have full view so it's easier from the middle. And then I just bring drinks and a couple snacks for the two of us if we're gonna be gone for a long time. Got my planner on my side here, and that's it. Hey guys, all right, driving to our destination in Orlando. Got a few properties to show over there. I usually have 3 rules for my drivers. Number 1, I wanna try to keep the speed limit to no more than 8 miles an hour above the speed limit. The night before, I always try to plan my trips so that I get to my destination at least 45 minutes ahead of my first appointment. That way, if anything comes up during traffic or there's any changes in my person's meeting schedule that I'm meeting with, we can get there way ahead of time. Rule number 2, I do not like tailgating, so I ask my drivers to have at least 2 or 3 car lengths between us and the next person. And the third thing is, this is just kind of a personal preference, I don't like being right next to huge semi-trucks. I just tell them to wait until there's a clear passage so that we can shoot past them rather than getting stuck right next to them for 2 or 3 minutes. Also, what I do the night before on our trip is I prepare my calls and my emails that I'm gonna do during the drive. I use a CRM, and in my CRM I use RealNeck, so I've already got a list of all the phone calls that I need to make, the emails I need to return, there might be a BOV I'm working on, whatever it is. I have a full schedule for my drive there and my drive back so that I can be most efficient with my time. A couple more things to point out. If you can see at the front here, I have a sun pass so that we can go through tolls pretty easily. The second thing is I always make sure I have a full tank of gas. This is another preference thing too here. I have a clothes hanger. If I have any clothing changes that I need to do, like sometimes it's just super hot, so if I do 2 or 3 showings and I'm drenched, I can switch shirts. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some of the details. I pay my drivers anywhere between $15 and $20 an hour. Joey's been driving with me for a long overtime, so he gets $20 an hour. Some folks are less if they've done less with me. And I also pay for their meals if I go overnight somewhere, like we're doing a 2-day tour, we're doing lots of inspections. I'll get them a hotel room, pay for their hotel. At that point, we'll negotiate the number of hours, because obviously I can't pay them for 24 or 36 hours of time when they're not doing anything for me at that time, but that can be worked out. As far as waivers and insurance goes, I have they get a speeding ticket, that's their speeding ticket. As far as what they do when I'm actually meeting, so they usually just leave. They'll drop me off, they usually go to a Starbucks or whatever. They go do whatever they like, and then when I'm done with my meetings, I'll text them I'm ready to be picked up, and they come and grab me. Another good tip I've learned is to buy one of these sun blocker things. But it works awesome as the sun comes in, so you can see your screen real well. All right, so we've arrived at our location. Now what I typically do is, since I've got my computer and all that stuff with me, I don't like to just leave it out in the open in the car, so I shut it down, and I usually just stuff it underneath my chair so nobody can see it. Or if you don't have one of those, I usually just put a towel over the stuff, and that way your most valuable piece is hidden and secure. Hey everybody, I can't tell you how awesome it is to come home from a trip out of town doing business, and I walk in the door and I'm having fun with my kids or dinner with my family or doing my own hobbies. I'm not worrying about catching up on emails, phone calls. I was extremely productive for the 8 hours prior, and I'm good to go for the next day. Not to mention, think about the business that you're in, especially if you're in sales or you're an investor or in some competitive type of environment. How incredible is it if you, over your competition, can pick up an extra 10, 20, 50 hours a month, depending on how much you travel? I really hope this video brought you value, and if it did, hit the like and subscribe button down below. And please share this video. I know there's a bunch of friends that you have that are probably in your same line of business, facing this same struggle, that they could really use this with. See you guys on the next one.